Hello everybody and welcome to today's video. My name is Rebecca Ravenbird. I'm the owner of Emerald Hunters and I am teaching this lesson on dressage exercises for precision. I taught this lesson recently at the Owners Coalition summer camp and I hope you guys really like this video and let's get into it. Yeah, so 110% brain power is what we're looking for today, but it's okay if it's not. I don't have any brain cells that I could donate to you guys, so I'm sorry about that. If I did, I would. And let's see, everyone's got a Warmblood, so that's pretty cool. So let's see, how many people do we have on Team Dutch Warmblood? We got 1, 2, 3, it looks like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16 so far. And I think we only have 2 people on Team Belgian, 2 or 3, no, 3. Yeah, 3. But it's okay. They still all function the same way. Okay, it is 00 on the hour here, so welcome everybody to Emerald Hunter's presentation lesson clinic, however you'd like to call it, on dressage exercises for precision. So this lesson is something that we teach to our beginner riders, and this is going to be a couple of games, a couple of exercises. Not too much in terms of moves for today. But I did want to preface that Emerald Hunters is a moves-based club, which means that we do have an extensive list of moves that we use in our dictionary, but of course we do teach fundamentals and theory. So the theory informs the moves, and the moves exemplifies the theory. So we don't ask our members to memorize any of the moves that we give them in the sense that, like, oh, you have to memorize move A and B and C and D and E, whatever. We just ask them from a theoretical standpoint to understand how they function. So, let's see, is there anything else I wanted to talk about? Okay, so other kind of considerations for our method and kind of where we're coming from is we like to say for you to set yourself up for success. So the more that you prepare yourself and the more that you physically, in the sense of preparing yourself to move in the arena, the less adjustments you will have to make later on, right? Because if you're just right from the get-go, then you don't have to correct anything later on. So that's kind of our philosophy there, right? It's the rider's responsibility to set themselves up for success, and therefore their setup for success helps the success of other riders. Okay, enough philosophy. Let's get into these exercises here. The first exercise we're going to do is going to help improve riders' straightness and their use of the arena lines. Let me go ahead and just stand right here in the middle. If you guys would like to dismount and kind of follow me and watch me on foot, just kind of leaving your horses there, that is totally okay with me. Be sure to turn on your dots. We will need those for today if you don't have them. But right now I am currently on our center line. So to put your dots on, you will come over this way to the corner of the arena, so towards the entrance. And there's a little rake. It's glowing in blue, and you'll just click on that to turn on your dots or to turn them off. So we will need them on for today. But right now, I am currently on our center line, and I want to see that I'm nice and straight on my center line. Right, so I'm going to go ahead and trot forward. Take a look. Am I still on the center line? Yes or no? Yeah, no, I'm kind of veering away from it, right? I'm kind of now going closer towards the B wall. So, let me come back this way and we'll travel back and forth. My goal is to always stay exactly straight and centered on my center line without veering, right? Moving away from my intended axis. And then if I do need to adjust myself, I'm going to make very small adjustments. So let me go ahead and ride again. So I'm veering right now quite badly, and I'm going to adjust myself teeny tiny, nice controlled adjustments. And boom, there I am right back on my center line. So go ahead and remount your horses. So what we're going to do is one of the Beans' favorite games, and this is called the car lane game. So what I want you guys to do is you're going to pick an arena dot to stand on. So you'll want to stand nice and centered with it. And because there's so many of us, we won't all fit on this short wall. So some of you guys could stay here on the C wall. Some of you guys can run over here towards the A wall. Some of you guys can line up on a dot on the E wall or the B wall. So go ahead and find a dot. Wee, zoomy, zoomy. And Kathy, my friend, you will not find a dot. You will find a dot in the middle. My Kathy, by the way. And yes, make sure you are all the way up against the wall as well. I mean, I'm not, sorry, not against the wall, but like you're not just like in the middle of the arena like this or anything. Okay, so we've all established our spot. So the first game that we're gonna do, not really a game, but more of just having you guys practice very, very tiny, small adjustments to your veering. Rather than doing something like this, where you're pressing and holding your key to turn like this. It's kind of like if you were actually driving a car, you don't want to steer the wheel very harshly. You don't want to steer it so fast because your car is gonna flip over and you die. So we don't want that to happen. We want you to make very gentle, gradual adjustments. So what you're going to do is you're on your dot, and I want you to intentionally veer away from your dot and then veer back onto it. So tap, 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 gentle taps, rhythmic taps back on your line. Okay, so does that make sense on how this first exercise goes? Okay, so once you hit the opposite side, you can just halt and turn around. So here we go. Trot set, pre and go. So again, intentionally veer away from your axis and tap back onto it. It's okay if you crash into other people. Good. I'm not seeing any harsh movement. Very, very nice. Good. And then the people that are on the long walls are still traveling, so you guys kind of have like double the time here. Gentle, gentle, gentle. Very, very nice, guys. Okay, so now what I want you to do is we're going to do it one more time going in the opposite direction, so you'll be going back towards your original wall. Okay, so here we go. Trot set, pre and go. Gentle tapping, rhythmic, rhythmic. Looking good, guys. I can't come around and give feedback to everybody like I would normally do for the beans, but from what I am seeing, it's looking very, very nice. Okay. The next variation of this exercise to kind of go off of that. This time, this is going to be don't crash the cars. So this time, what's going to happen is you're still going to intentionally veer off of your line. So let's say I'm right here. But then I have Luna Puppy Nose to my right and then Valentina Brave Clover to my left. So I don't know which way they're going to veer. So because of that, I need to stay away from them. I don't want to clip into them. I don't want to crash my car into them. So because of that, now this is asking for you to rotate your camera, be very aware of the other riders around you, and don't crash into them. Now, as you can see, because there's so many of us, we're going to crash into the people potentially that are also oncoming, right? So whoever this person is that I'm approaching, poor Andrea Flowerbaker, I have crashed the car. But for the people who are oncoming from you, you will also have to avoid them. Okay, so this is going to be interesting. So don't crash the cars. Be gentle about your veering away from other riders. And here we go. Trot set, pre and go. So you have to move away from them if you see them coming towards you. And if you crash someone coming to the side of you, that's fine. It's more about the people oncoming towards you. Okay, waiting for our last riders to hit the A and C wall. All right, so let's do it one more time. Again, Be very aware of your surroundings. That's the purpose of this particular exercise. Don't crash the cars. Here we go. Trot, set, pre, and go. Uh-oh, the police is coming. Is anyone gonna get a ticket? Let's see. Beep, beep. Okay, you guys are doing good. Very nice, no car crashes. So intentionally veering away from your axis, also looking out for other people. Yes, if you see someone coming towards you, you want to move away. Okay, so we're going to do one more kind of variation on this. So now what you need to do is you need to own your line. And what do I mean by that? Well, I want you to own your line by pretending that your horseshoes on your horse are magnetized to that line. You're stuck on that line no matter what. So what you need to do is, for this exercise, you need to set yourself up exactly straight and centered with that dot. Okay, so if you need to back up and kind of tilt yourself to get exactly straight on that line, you can go ahead and do that right now. And so, as you trot forward, if you start to veer away from your line and become unmagnetized from that line, you need to tap, 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 tap back over. And this time I want you to count how many taps it takes for you to adjust yourself back on to your line. So for me, right then and there, it just took me about 5 or so taps to adjust myself back onto the line. So does that make sense for this exercise? It's very, very interesting. So this time we are not veering off our line, we're staying onto it. And if you need to adjust yourself, you tap how many taps it takes. Any questions on that? Really double check right now to make sure that you are nice and centered and straight on your dot. You own that dot, that is your lane. And get your counting mind ready. Here we go. Trot, set, pre, and go. Nice and straight. Counting any taps that you need to adjust. We'll wait for our long wall Pete, but for the people who have already reached the wall, how many taps did it take for you to keep yourself straight on your axis, on your line? 4, 4, 3, 1, 4, good. Okay, and if you just hit the A and C wall, how many taps did it take for you? Okay, I'm seeing some twos. None? Ooh, none. I can't say it, that's okay. I'm surprised any of us are able to say numbers in the chat at this point in time. 1 before 1, I am assuming 0. I'm not sure. But okay, so very nice so far. So this time what I want you to do is you're going to go back in the opposite direction. You're still going to stay on your line. And this time I want you to try to reduce the amount of taps that you take to adjust yourself. So what that means is really make sure that you're adjusting yourself, setting yourself up for success exactly nice and straight on your dot so that you just make a straight shot down the arena without making any adjustments or minimizing the amount of adjustments that you had previously. So for example, if you had 4 taps to adjust yourself, try to bring that down to 3. And if you had none, well, that's great. You have mastered straightness. But I want you to maintain a number of 0 taps across the arena here. All right, let's try it again. So take a moment again to adjust yourself. Really make sure you're exactly straight and centered right down the middle of that dot. And here we go. Trot, set, pre, and go. Okay, for the people who hit the walls already, tell me how many taps did it take? Did you get less or more? Okay, 2s. None, great. 1 or 2, none, all right. All right, for my people who just hit the A and C wall, how many taps did you take? Hopefully it was less. Seeing some nuns, ones. Nuns, ones, none, one. Okay, good. So that means you guys have been really paying attention to the exact centeredness and exact straightness on your axes. And I know it may seem a little bit, how should I say, trivial to be having these exercises about straightness, but it really does count in the end. So, like, let's say, for example, we are doing some, if you guys actually at this point would like to come towards X and watch me kind of demonstrate a bit, you can. But yeah, overall, very nice job on these exercises, everybody. So, like I said, there's a reason why we talk about straightness, and when we're doing moves, like, let's say we're doing a mist. So if we're doing a mist, that is a curl, and then a curl over in the opposite direction. If I'm properly straight on my original axis, on my center line, I should end up splitting in half between two bright dots when I finish my mist. And if everybody is doing that, well then everybody splits down the middle like this, right? And then we don't have people that are all the way off to the side here, and they have to veer to get behind their leader or anything like that. So that's one reason why straightness within Emerald Hunters is so heavily emphasized. And then also, too, again, kind of going back to the whole measurement thing, which we're actually going to do for our next batch of exercises, measuring the arena properly with our different gate sizes is also dependent on our straightness before we even, do the move, right? So if we're straight now, then if I do a canter curl over, I should end up exactly on the other side here, one quadrant away. Okay. The last reason why straightness is so important is because of arena timing. So, for example, if you have two riders coming down the center line and they're supposed to meet exactly at X on the commander's screen, but if somebody is veering this way and they have to come back this way, well then this person is going to get to X later than their partner who was straight the entire time. They're going to get there slower. So I hope that was an interesting set of exercises. You guys are free to take these exercises to your groups and teach them to your group. Okay, so the next batch of exercises that we're going to be doing is talking about curl over measurements. We all know, hopefully, that the distance between two bright dots is all equidistant from each other, right? So the distance between this dot and, if my character could dismount faster, and this dot right here that I'm standing on is the same distance as this dot to this dot, where Himari is kind of currently standing. Right, so they're all the same distance. And we can measure the distance between two bright dots using differently sized curl overs. So typically, hello, welcome. Typically, we're at the trot most of the time, right? So we're going to start off with that. So if I take my curl over at the trot, so here is my first curl over, and I want to get to this dot to the on the other side. I want to travel over one dot. I've done one trot curl over. And here I am on my line. I have now done two trot curl overs. Okay, so the distance between two bright dots is equal to two trot curl overs. Given what you guys know about the different sizes of a walk curl and a canter curl, I want to travel from this center line over to the wide tier line using walk curl overs. I want to get there using walk curl overs. So am I going to use more walk curl overs to get there or less walk curl overs? More or less? Yes, more. Very nice. So therefore, if I start on my center line and I count, here's my first walk curl over, number 1. And number 2, I'm almost there. And number 3. So it takes me 3 walk curl overs to get to one dotted line to the next. So again, the distance between two bright dots is equal to 3 walk curl overs and 2 trot curl overs. So let's say now I want to get back onto the center line and I want to use a canter curl over. So am I going to use more or less curl overs compared to the trot? Less. Yes. Yes, say less. Okay, so this time, if I pick up my canter, I want to get onto the center line using a canter curl over, pre and go. It's going to take me approximately 1 canter curl over. Okay, so the distance between 2 bright dots is equal to 1 canter curl over, 2 trot curl overs, and 3 walk curl overs. So 1, 2, 3, or 3, 2, 1, however you'd like to remember that. So Beck, why the heck are we learning about this? Well, this helps us get used to riding on different axes, right? So our axis is any line of travel. It helps us get used to traveling on different axes that are not a bright dotted line, right? So we're so used to riding on our center line and quarter lines and all of that stuff, and those are wonderful and beautiful and helpful, but when we do routines and anything like that, we'll be on different axes much of the time. So, right, learning how to stay straight and learning how to measure the distance and predict where you end up is very helpful. I would like for you guys to please pick a new arena line, and this time it does not have to be on the wall or anything. You could just start on any random dot, any random orientation. Ready, set, go. And we're going to take a moment to just practice our different size curlovers. So go ahead, you can start practicing your 3 walk curlovers to get from one quadrant to the next. And make sure you practice in both directions. Once you feel comfortable, you can start practicing your trot curlovers, 2 trot curlovers. And again, make sure you're exactly precisely straight. Straight on your quadrant line before doing your curlovers. Okay, and then when you feel comfortable again, you can pick up your canter and practice your canter curlovers. Okay, I'll give you a couple more seconds here to practice that. Yeah, looking very nice from what I can see so far, everybody. Okay, bye to whoever's leaving. Thank you so much for joining. All right, everybody go ahead and reset towards X for now. There is one little detail I'd like to share with you guys about how we do our canter curlovers. So, let me get on the center line. Okay. So you may have observed this yourself during that little practice moment that I gave you, but I'm going to go ahead and share that if you were to do a true, proper canter curl over, like this, you actually don't end up quite exactly over the center of the dot. So if you'd like to dismount and come look at me, you can. So you notice I'm kind of like slightly off of the dot here. I'm not quite over it exactly. So that's if you do a true proper canter curl over where you press and hold the turning key until you're exactly straight. So within Emerald Hunters, we do make a slight adjustment to how we perform our canter curl overs. So let me get back on the center line here and show you that. So the way that we're going to do that is Beck, pre, and go. So press, release, press. And so now I'm on the wide tier line. So what did I do? So I basically pressed and held my turning key, and then I released it for a second, so that way I swing outwards a little bit, so that way it swings me out towards my new axis, and then I pressed my key again. I tapped it just to get myself exactly straight. Okay, so does that kind of make sense? Again, it's for the purpose of making the canter curl over exactly one line away from each other. That's how we do it. So we press, release, press, and then we get right on our new axis. Okay. Okay. Thank you guys for coming. For those of you who have to head out, I appreciate you guys coming. Go ahead, take a moment to just practice that canter curl over with that press, release, press method. And kind of test it too, right? Do a true canter curl over and then do the canter curl over with the press, release, press. Yeah, right exactly on that line. Okay, looking good from what I can see so far, guys. All right, so let's put this into action. And let's actually apply this to kind of what we learned yesterday. So if I could have everybody please reset over here towards C. And we're going to get into an approximate line order here. But line leads, we are going to stay along our table spacing because as we do our moves for today, we will be kind of traveling towards the inside here, and I don't want you guys to crash into each other. So, kind of applying what we had learned yesterday from Crystal Pirates, we're going to take a dodge, a regular dodge move, and we're going to turn it into a rhythm. Right, so we remember a rhythm is where half of your move is in one gate and half of your move is in the other gate. So knowing what we know about our curl over measurements, if I call for a B dodge, you will do a trot curl over in the first direction and then canter curl over in the second direction. And so in this case, you should end up splitting in half between two bright dots. Cries in level 20. Sorry about that. But hopefully you can keep up. Do the best you can to manage your gaps for today. We are using OT gaps or boss gaps, however you like to call it. Horse's nose on the inside of the saddle of the person in front of you. Okay. So, oh, I forgot to tell you the actual moves. I told the Emerald Hunters, but I didn't tell you guys. But it's okay. I will just tell you right here, right now. So, let's pick up our trot set going into OT gaps, pre and go. What is your preference on using normal tabling spacings, then using the second dot away from the wall? If you're talking about the short walls, the C and the A wall, we go all the way to the edge. And then same here on the long walls, we go all the way to the edge as well. Also, my apologies, we are not cutting onto the quarter line. We are actually going to stay along table spacing. So when you hit the wall for, whose line is this? For Stephanie, go ahead and turn left at the wall and then stay on the table spacing. So the outer line. And you're going to continuously bare belt along table spacing. Yeah, not a problem here. Okay. So I don't particularly care if our lines are aligned with each other, like if our leads are aligned with each other. More so I want the OT gaps and such. Okay, so now that we're in a big, huge line, now you really have to pay attention to the straightness on your line because you have so many people in front of you. If you see the person in front of you veering, do not follow them into their veer, right? Remember, the lines never lie. So the lines are always, always, always going to be correct for your straightness. So let's do an I dodge. So an I dodge, curl over at the walk, and then curl over at the trot, each in opposite directions. Think carefully about where you should end up based on the size of these curl overs. I dodge, set, pre, and go. And very nice. So if you did not end up on the next line over, so your your eighth line. Oh, I'm having massive lag, I'm sorry. That is correct. You should not have ended up exactly on the eighth line. You should end up more on the edge of the dot. Okay, so let me come over to this line here, and we'll try it again. And we'll do another I dodge. So I dodge left set, I dodge left set, pre, and go. Absolutely fabulous, beautiful timing. Really, really nice. Okay, so that is an I dodge. Let's do a T dodge, so that's the opposite. So that is a trot, then walk pattern. We'll just do these quickly because we do have to move on to our last activity, which is our craft activity. Yay. Alright, so since our lines are so far apart now, I'm going to say whoever is on the E wall, so Haley's line, you'll do your dodge first. So T dodge, set, pre, and go. Good, again, you should end up, yeah, on the edge of that dot. Not exactly on it, on the edge of that dot. Alright, next group, so it's Haley and Stephanie. Alright, so Stephanie's line, here we go. This will be T dodge, set, pre, and go. If you're in a corner, I'm sorry. Good, and just follow wherever your leader is. Yeah, so when, for Stephanie, once you hit this wall over here, I want you to stay continuously on the outer line, no matter what. Alright, moving on to a B dodge for Haley's line. So that's a trot curl, then canter curl. Excuse me. Trot curl over, then canter curl over. Here we go. B dodge, set, pre, and go. Where should you end up? Beautiful, splitting in half between two bright dots. All right, Stephanie's line. Your turn for the B dodge. So again, trot curl over, canter curl over, B dodge, set, pre, and go. Where should you end up? Good. Yep, thinking carefully about those curl over measurements. Really, really nice job. All right, moving on to a Q dodge for us. That is a canter, then trot pattern. So Haley's line first, Q dodge, set, pre, and go. Remember that press release press for your canter curl over. Okay, really make sure again here you're ending up splitting in half between two bright dots. Very nice job. Stephanie's line next, Q dodge, set, pre, and go. Splitting in half between two bright dots. Lovely. All right, let's do an orbit dodge. So be careful because the walk curl over, you're splitting not in half, but you're splitting in thirds. So be careful on how that measurement looks. So orbit dodge, so that will be walk curl over, canter curl over, walk canter pattern. And I will actually do the other line first because you guys are belting. Stephanie's line. Let's do an orbit dodge, set, pre, and go. Very nice. Yes, you are ending up on the edge of the dot here as well. Back to Haley's line. Let's do an orbit dodge. You guys got this. Orbit dodge, set, pre, and go. We are actually right on time. Edge of the dot. Very nice. So let's see. Yeah, Elvira, you just swung out just a little bit too much there, but otherwise you made a good adjustment to get back into it. Okay, we did not do a Pluto dodge. So for us, Pluto is the opposite, so that's going to be a canter walk pattern. So let me actually do Haley's line first. So canter walk pattern. What did I say? Pluto dodge, set, pre, and go. Yeah, so you're here this time too, you're ending up again on the edge of the dot there. So be careful of that canter curl over. You don't want to swing out too much with that canter curl over. You want to aim right for the next quadrant line over. So even though you're doing that press release press method that we talked about, it's a very quick release and press again. Alright, moving on to Stephanie's line, last move of the day. Excuse me. Once again, Pluto, canter walk pattern, Pluto dodge, set, pre, and go. Excellent. Really, really nice job, you guys. Yeah, so throughout this entire having you guys do these different dodge moves, I really didn't see too much like super veering, like super way out of line with your leader and stuff like that. So that's the whole purpose of learning our curlover measurements and learning about our straightness. So that way you as the rider, you are responsible and you are knowledgeable about where you should end up when you do these kind of moves that aren't exactly on our lovely bright dots. Okay, so let's do a beautiful little halt set. Everybody walk. Okay, let me wait for that last group over there to get out of the corner and go. So everybody just halt in place for now. Okay, so that is the end of that exercise. I wanted to just say quickly, thank you guys for coming out to these 2 exercises. I hope you like them. I hope they're different. I hope they're valuable to your members if you'd like to bring them over to your groups and teach them. So we're actually going to go ahead and move on to our lovely craft activity. So make sure to get out your supplies. You're actually free to log off of the game at this point. We will not be doing anything further in the game. The craft activity that we were supposed to do at the very end of this video actually was a little bit too blurry, and so what I'm going to do is re-record that video and upload that as a separate activity, and I hope you guys really like that craft activity. It's all about the quadrant lines. If you like the way that we teach in Emerald Hunters, be sure to subscribe to this channel because we have a lot more tutorials coming out for the rest of 2024, so don't miss those. Subscribe to the channel. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye everybody.